Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. We've got something, I don't know, a little special for you today. We usually give you about 3 or 4 new decks every single day. Well, Iron Patriot is the Season Pass card, and it's the best Season Pass card in recent memory, since probably Loki, or Elsa from well over a year ago. We got you 30 decks. You heard right. 30 distinct, individual Iron Patriot decks. What you're going to be able to find here is 6 Anti-Venom Centric decks, 8 decks where he fits into existing shells like Sarah and Surfer, 8 Wiccan Centric decks, 2 Victoria Hand Centric decks, and then 6 Galacta Centric decks. That is overall 30. You heard it right, 30 decks to try with this card. We've got giveaway winners. We've got all sorts of stuff in this video. Make sure you check it out. But if you want the most Marvel Snap decks, and like no one else is giving you 30 decks in a day, friends. If you want the most Marvel Snap decks proven by really great players, please hit that sub button. Liking and commenting helps us with that YouTube algorithm if you are so inclined. We're trying to hit 25,000 subs in 2025, and we need your help to get there. All you got to do is sub, and you don't even have to leave the screen. There's a little YouTube thing in the bottom of the screen right below me. If you just press that button, you're subbed and you've helped us out. Thank you so much. All right, Iron Patriot is a 2/3 on reveal. Add a random 4, 5, or 6 cost card to your hand. If you're winning here after next turn, give it -4 cost. Just getting the random 4, 5, or 6 is incredibly powerful. Period. You can play that with Quinjet, and then you get a discounted free card. It's basically drawing an extra card. Is that card always good? No, but the high majority of Marvel Snap cards are at least good, and getting them is beneficial. Getting them at -4 is completely insane. It's game winning, it steals cubes in ways your opponent cannot possibly play around. I've lost so many cubes, I don't know why this keeps happening, but I've lost an absurd amount of cubes to generated Eliaths. Just keeps happening. But it's 4, 5, and 6 cost cards, and it's so very strong. I've lost to generated Shang-Chi's. Just complete out of nowhere power. Crazy, just hell, oh oops, here's a Sandman, good luck playing cards this next turn. It's one of the best cards ever. There's no reason for this card to be this strong. It should probably be a 2/2 that gives -3 cost, and then it's still one of the best cards in Marvel Snap. This card is utterly insane. You want this card. And we're going to give away one later this video, but we'll talk about that later. First, we're going to talk about the Anti-Venom Centric decks. A lot of you are going, but I don't have Anti-Venom. Why are you starting with this? Well, the real reason is Anti-Venom at the end of February has the best value bundle, at least it's data mined as such, no guarantees. The best value bundle that Second Dinner has ever released. It's like 4,400, 4,500 gold. You should be saving up for that bundle if you don't own Anti-Venom. You buy that bundle, you get enough resources to buy, I think, 2 other high series cards, and you get Anti-Venom and access to all these decks. So we're going to start with 6 Anti-Venom decks. These are, in my opinion, the best home for Iron Patriot. And we're going to talk a lot about Victoria Hand later, but we did a podcast yesterday where I was like, I don't think Victoria Hand's ever going to be meta. I think she's really, really fun, but I don't think she's meta. Oops. Because this deck we're looking at right now is, I think, the best deck in Marvel Snap, or it's at least the most consistent deck in Marvel Snap. This is Derek's Brew. The current #1 player, Honifer, is playing this list with 1 card changed. He's running Rocket and Groot over speed. This deck is absolutely insane. Miseries and Spotlights either next week or the week after. So if that's what's holding you back, you'll be getting Misery at that point. This deck is so strong. It doesn't seem like it does a lot, right? But every little bit works so freaking well together. You want Hood because every extra demon is 8 or 10 power with Victoria Hand. 8 power if you only have 1, but you have Frigga and Nico, so you get extra copies of Victoria Hand reasonably often. 10 power, 1 for 10 power demons is great. How do you get more than 1 demon though? Oh, well, how about we just Misery that? That sounds good, right? We played Hood, we Misery that Hood, we've got an extra demon. Getting an extra Mirage card seems pretty good because even without a second Victoria Hand, those are at +4 power, thanks to Mirage's own ability and Victoria Hand. Iron Patriot obviously is insane with the extra benefit. Kate Bishop is great. And then because you've got this Frigga thing going with Victoria Hand, right? What you want to do is you've got Luke Cage and Anti-Venom because you don't always see exactly what you want, right? But if you play Anti-Venom, great. You've got a 0 cost card that you can then copy with Frigga. That's Victoria Hand potentially. That's Iron Patriot potentially for an extra card on the last turn of the game. That's a free red guardian, a speed that keeps all the ongoing power even if he has 0. And Luke says if you didn't get that extra power, don't worry about it. Like, I'm just gonna reset it to base. Everyone all over the place is playing this list. This is like the top of the infinite leaderboard main deck. I'm playing this left and right now. This deck is absolutely incredible. Again, KM Best did a video on it if you want to see some gameplay from it. KM Best in a snap on YouTube. Derek is the #1 player on the Infinite Leaderboard in both August and September. He's an incredible player. This list is through the roof powerful. But I'm not even sure it's the best Anti-Venom list we're going to talk about, because Sizer played for like 7 hours today on stream at an 80% win rate and climbed all the way up to #2 with this Iron Patriot list. If your opponent is not running Luke Cage, this deck feasts. It absolutely eats opponents. Ajax gets huge. Juggernaut is a lane winner. It's got the exact same anti-venom type synergies. You don't get the because it's got Luke Cage, you don't get the Frigga of it, fine. But you can still play that free extra card with a Malekith. You can still play that free extra card at the end of the game. There's not enough Mobius, there's not enough Luke Cage to counter this deck, and thus it is just so strong. US Agent plays for an absolute insane amount of power. Opponents are relying on getting a lot of extra power. You take that power right away with this list. Again, an 80% win rate with this list. A piece of advice that I heard Cam give the other day that I think is really good is don't over-index on Ajax. You're going to win a lot of games with your Juggernaut and Man-Thing style cards, with your free Iron Patriot style cards. Ajax is huge and can win a lot of games, but you don't have to have him to win. This list beats almost everything. It has the only real bad matchup is a protected Luke Cage. Everything else, this absolutely feasts on. This is one of the other very best decks in Marvel Snap, and one of the best homes for Iron Patriot. But we have more. We have Revis, who cooked with this list. Revis said, okay, well, if I'm adding all these cards to my hand, and this one has Snow Guard, this one runs Kate Bishop, obviously Iron Patriot adds a card to your hand, why not run Devil Dinosaur, right? You've got Devil Dinosaur, and obviously that is insanely strong. That wins games. It's just a big card. All these cards that we're generating, they're almost all on reveals. Okay, so Gore is suddenly huge. Oh crap, Devil Dinosaur and Gore are ongoing. So is Victoria Hand. Mystique joins the deck. How do we win mirrors? Lady Deathstrike. Answers left and right. This deck is absolutely super strong. I don't think it's quite as good as the other two. Straight up, I don't think it's as good as those first two decks. I'm not sure we're going to talk about any decks in this video that are as good as the first two decks, but this is an incredibly strong list that a lot of people are absolutely crushing with. Sizer hit infinite with this list. It is absolutely stellar. Then we have Ika's Pixie Patriot list. Ika basically just said, okay, so I want to be able to cheat in my Iron Patriot deck more ways than one, right? I'm running Mobius. Mobius counters opposing Iron Patriot. If I want to run Mobius, what card in the game goes best with Mobius? Pixie. Pixie goes best with Mobius. People are running Anti-Venom with their Iron Patriot, right? Mobius stops that too. There's all that terrible affliction stuff. Luke Cage in the list. Okay, what if I want to cheat my own ways? Well, I've got Pixie, so anything could be cheap, and I can Frigga that. I've got the Anti-Venom combo with Frigga. I've got just plain old Hydra Bob with Frigga. This one doesn't run Victoria Hand. This is our first non-Victoria Hand list. Oh, actually, that's not true. The Sizer one doesn't have Victoria Hand. This is a non-Victoria Hand list. Lady Deathstrike and Goliath right now are absolutely insane. They're crazy power, and they eat opponents. You need to try this list. This is the sleeper list of the video. I'm not seeing nearly enough of this given how good it is into the meta. I know people don't always like Pixie, but this is one of the best metas for this type of Pixie deck that we've ever seen. And then we've got Space's list. Space made me this list because he knows I love Anti-Venom Frigga stuff, and then we always combine Iron Man Gore stuff. This is sort of like the Devil Dinosaur version, but instead it gets an extra bit of discounting because it can run Ravonna as an extra target here. So Ravonna here, making Iron Man or Gore cheaper, Mystique cheaper, Sage cheaper, gives you an extra way to win on top of everything else. Iron Man still remains one of the most powerful things to do in the game, and you get to put out an absolute crazy amount of power. You might also notice this is our one Anti-Venom deck that doesn't bother running Luke Cage, because so many of the cards we're hitting here with Anti-Venom are zeros in the first place, right? You're hitting an Iron Man, you're hitting a Gore, you're hitting a Sage, you're hitting a Mystique. All of those are perfectly fine. Frigga is here to copy stuff, so you don't care if you hit Frigga. Juggernaut is fine as a zero. This is just multiple great hits for Anti-Venom, and the entire deck is built around that, while also just getting to cheat with Iron Patriot. Iron Patriot doesn't run a million cards to go with here, but Hydra Bob works really well with it, and obviously Juggernaut is incredible with Iron Patriot. The other thing you can do with Juggernaut, though, if you don't get that Iron Patriot, is you can turn 6, go Mystique to copy whichever of the ongoings, and Juggernaut, and then you just get extra benefit. This list is absolutely amazing. Next up, Derek First Day created this list he called Invested in Iron Patriot. This is an all-in on Iron Patriot list. It says, I'm going to get that Iron Patriot. I'm going to win games because of it. Fundamentally, Iron Patriot here, you can use Quake to counter opposing Iron Patriots. You can use Daredevil to figure out where to play a Man-Thing, to where to play a Negasonic, where to play a Claw, so on. You can use Negasonic to just immediately win an Iron Patriot lane, or Red Guardian or Gladiator, as the case may be. This list says if I've got a cheap Iron Patriot and I've got my Anti-Venom combos, I win the game. That's it. This list is absolutely crushing pre-infinite. It is yet another stellar list. This is fairly distinct from the other lists. It definitely invests in that Iron Patriot more than most of these other lists do, and thus it is very effective. This one feels a little bit like a Stefan Supergiant list that we'll talk more about later, but this one, instead of running that Supergiant combo with Daredevil Negasonic, runs an Iron Patriot combo with Quake and so on. Hey, want a season pass? We're giving away one more season pass this week. We've already given away 10 season passes of Iron Patriot. We're giving away one more this week. All you have to do is sub, like, and comment. The comment I'm going to ask you to make is, do you think Iron Patriot should be nerfed? If so, how? If not, why not? That's it. Nice and simple. You answer that, you are entered to win a season pass. We're going to announce 5 more season pass winners later this video. This next bit is existing shells plus Iron Patriot. Will find decks from the great Lufku, Jet, which yes means Phoenix Force, Toxic Soul King, Crime Afoot, Buddy, Zombies Go Nom Nom, Binks, and Parry Manilow. So our first list is from Lufku. This is a She-Hulk double up. We covered this previously on the channel. I think that there's 100% something here. I keep running into She-Hulk double up nonsense with Victoria Hand and Iron Patriot, and it's really hard to beat. Moon Girl hitting an Iron Patriot card, Victoria Hand, or She-Hulk is insane, and there has to be a tier 1 build here. This list is still putting up amazing stats, but I promise you there's a better version of it. This is going to be one of the best lists in the game for a very long time, and I cannot wait until we get all the way there. Then we have Jeet's Patriot Force. Lower win rate list. There's a few in here that are lower win rate. Jet is playing Phoenix Force with Misery once more because the card that he's messing with is an unreveal. So you don't especially want to Misery that Iron Patriot, right? But you're perfectly happy to eat it with a Venom. And then Phoenix Force it back, right? You're perfectly happy to use a Demon to get your Iron Patriot, and then you've got all this extra cheap stuff. There's just a million different ways to do completely silly things with this list. It's got Moon Girl for doubling up that extra free card, along with the Quinjet, along with the Demons, is really powerful. If you decide to Misery like a Demon and a Mirage, you can Phoenix Force and Moon Girl. There's just a million stupid combinations that you can do with this list. Again, this one is almost more silly than good, but there's something here. I'm telling you. Quinjet, Moon Girl, and Iron Patriot have a combo, usually with Victoria Hand, but Jet is Jet, so this one doesn't even bother with that. Next up, we have Toxic Soul King, who's playing a Supergiant version. This one is reasonably similar to the Sizer deck. Toxic Soul King is climbing in high infinite, top 100 on the infinite leaderboard, with this list that offers a ton of power. Instead of messing around with other shenanigans, it says Supergiant's going to mess up my opponent's plans. They're not going to be able to copy their cards. They're not going to be able to get the cards that generate things and be able to do stuff. That is the power of Supergiant here. So if you can get your Iron Patriot on curve discount, you've got Negasonic and Red Guardian. If you can't, then Supergiant should be able to win you that game just by saying your opponent can't do what they want. Well, you can hide like a Sage behind that stuff or a Man-Thing behind that stuff, and the opponent will not know. because there's just enough variability. This is another of my favorite decks from the video. Supergiant is absolutely insane right now. There's a learning curve to playing her, but if you do learn it, this combination with Iron Patriot is insane. Like, they don't have the information of what you played behind Supergiant. They also don't know what you got from Iron Patriot. It's very hard to play around both of those things. Then we have Crime Afoot, some Millerica. This is Patriot, Iron Patriot mill list. This is fundamentally saying Iron Patriot is so strong, I should just play it and everything. That's what this list is. It is a mill you out list. Iron Patriot's replacing Cable in this list. Cable's one of the better mill cards, and this list does not care because Iron Patriot's incredibly, incredibly strong. It says I've got Baron Zemo and Gladiator, and those are very, very powerful cards. If either one of them back up Iron Patriot, I probably get my discount, and then I can eat whatever I want, including that Iron Patriot itself with Lady Deathstrike, get myself a nice cheap death. I can get myself an extra card with Misery and then drop a Deathstrike on top of that. There's just a ton of ways to win with this. Iron Patriot's insane. Millless running Misery basically means they get to free roll Iron Patriot, and this is a really cool idea from Crime Afoot, who's absolutely crushing with this. Then we've got Buddy's Hand. This is our first of two Serra lists. This Serra list is a pure control list. Yes, it's running Mantis. Why is it running Mantis? Because Mantis was just in a bundle. If you have Zabu, throw Zabu in there. If you have Hydrobob, throw Hydrobob in there. Mantis should probably not be in the list. There's even like Maria Hill, right? You don't need Mantis. Mantis is kind of hilarious in that if you play Iron Patriot and then you play on turn 3 like a Sentinel and a Mantis in that lane, you're going to get a card because they're probably going to play on the Iron Patriot that you can then buff with Victoria Hand, which is at least amusing. But that's not what this deck is really about. This deck is about countering everything. Opponents playing big stuff, US Asian. Opponents playing ongoing, Enchantress. Opponents playing trying to discount stuff, Mobius. And then you just sort of cheat with Victoria Hand to get enough power to win. This list absolutely can crush anything. It absolutely can beat anything. It's amazingly frustrating to play against. It doesn't have a lot of power, right, if you don't see Victoria Hand, but it doesn't matter because it does such a great job of taking away your opponent's power. Then we have Zombies Go Nom Nom. This is another one that doesn't have one of the highest win rates, but it's too cool to miss out on. We've got a Black Knight Iron Patriot Victoria Hand. Yes, Victoria Hand will benefit that shard that you create, along with obviously Kate Bishop, the Frigga card, and the Frigga card. It's not as many targets as we usually have for this, but it doesn't matter. This just works out fine. Iron Patriot obviously being the other target there, excuse me. Yeah, you just have a ton of power. I don't know what else to say. This is why run the Iron Patriot and Black Knight, because Iron Patriot is incredible and it just can fit in. Victoria Hand gives extra power to the shard, and if you're gonna run Victoria Hand in anything, you have to run Iron Patriot, right? Or at least you frickin' might as well run Iron Patriot because it's a free roll for an extra 2 power on a much cheaper head of rate card. And then you've also just got your silly extra power with Magneto, Infinite, Lady Sif, Ghost Rider, all that nonsense. This deck is really cool. Again, not the highest win rate. Black Knight rarely has the highest win rate, but very effective. And then we have Binks's Infinite list, and Binks is just being mean here. This is, you might see, the Storm War Machine Legion with Zabu. This basically says, I don't need Psylocke. I've got Zabu, and I've got Iron Patriot, and Iron Patriot's enough. Storm with Juggernaut can still just win a lane, especially if you have an extra free card. If you go Storm on 4, Naked Storm on 4, but you got Iron Patriot on 2, then you can play Juggernaut and your new card basically guaranteed on turn 5, which is just game frickin' winning. If you're ahead because you got that Iron Patriot card, let's say you got a free 4, right? You got a free 4 out of Iron Patriot. You can go Storm into Legion, play that free 4, and guarantee yourself a win, locking up every lane. 2 cubes, but still guaranteeing a win. This is insane. So strong. And then we finish up this section with Perry Manilow's Blood and Steel. This is a version of Goon Knight. This is, I mean, technically the, what's his name? I lost his name. Avazord. This is Avazord's version of that, but Perry decided, hey, you know what card really would go well here? You guessed it, Iron Patriot. Why? Well, I already have Negasonic. I already have Gladiator. And if I have those 2 cards because of Fenris Wolf, then Iron Patriot just has a really good chance of going off. You get that extra power. You get that cheap card. If it ends up at an even cost, you just play it instead of playing Moon Knight. If it ends up an odd cost, you don't even have to worry about it. Just stellar stuff here. Why add Iron Patriot to a powerful list? Because Iron Patriot's insane. This list, I think, is another one of the big sleepers of the video. Cool. Hey, we have a Patreon. I don't know if you know that. It's patreon.com/snapjudgments. I try to remember to advertise it about once every 2 weeks. All right, so our Patreon has the following. We have a $2 tier. That's our base tier. It was originally just the show love tier, but now it means you get access to all of our tournaments and our deck archive. I'm not actually sure if that's still being updated totally, though. We basically, here's how this works. We host one giant league tournament where you play one game a week um every other month, right? You play one game a week against an opponent in a pod of about 30 people. The winner of that pod, after a pod, it's basically its own mini tournament, right? Gets a free season pass. Then they get put into the winner's bracket. The winner's bracket pays for cash prizes. We're going to have $400 in prizes for this next Snap Judgments League. If you're interested in checking it out, and all you have to do is have a $2 entry. If you'd like to see all these videos early and get early access to everything we do, we have a $5 tier, and then we have a $10 tier that in addition to early access, in addition to you get an exclusive video every week, and in addition to an exclusive video every week, you will also, on top of that, be getting oh my gosh. You will also be getting a shout out in every single video, which you'll see at the end of this one. So if you're interested in any of that, please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. We also have a King of the Hill tournament 114 at 11 a.m. If you're interested, $2 tier, it's a $50 tournament, 1 day, single elimination. Go see if you can win 50 bucks. It's a great deal. All right, our Wiccan Centric list. The first one's going to come from Ika. It's that dino list we've seen. Then we've got a Butt list. We know Butt as one of the best players, a former 2-time Snap Judgments League champion. We've got Not My Dance coming up next. Then Crazy, Shongenjoyer, that we featured that one on the first day, and it's doing great. We've got Scodenim, the head writer at SnapFan. We've got Super Tech God, and of course, once more, Toxic Soul King. Let's take a look at some Wiccan lists. So, Iron Patriot lists get Wiccan more than anything else, I swear. When they don't get Wiccan, they're fairly likely to get Iron Patriot or Victoria Hand or one of their other completely stupid things that they can do. Ika's Dino Hand is basically saying, okay, so I just want a big thing, and that's Devil Dinosaur. You've also got Sentinel, because if you can get Sentinels that give you 5, that's pretty damn good. Collector, because all this generation stuff gives you a decent sized collector. This is a really cool list. This is one of the better things to be doing with Iron Patriot and Victoria Hand right now. It's very fun and very powerful and all over the meta. You've probably played against this list by now. Then we've got the new Butt. Butt decided to create a fairly similar list to that last one, right? But Butt's leaning even more into getting that Iron Patriot. We've got Quinjet to make all the cards cheaper. We've got Quicksilver to basically guarantee us the one. You'll note that we're running 3 ones in Ika's. So Wiccan's a little less frequent here, but we've got Quicksilver to basically guarantee that. But also, hey, sometimes we see Quinjet. Quinjet also works as an extra card because on turn 3 you can play a 2+ Quinjet and get extra energy that way. In addition to the Wiccan, if you get Quinjet and Wiccan going, you have all the energy you could possibly need and 10 bajillion power. Valentina gives you extra 6s on the cheap. This is very cool. Legion is here just as the best 5, fundamentally, as a way to just scam extra wins that your opponent can't get around. Stellar list with Wiccan in this one. Then we've got Not My Dance, and for whatever reason, this is one of my best lists. This is once again doing the Moon Girl Quinjet thing. Note no She-Hulk. I'm not even sure that that Gore is better than just running She-Hulk. This list is awesome. I have had very little trouble winning a lot of games of Marvel Snap with it. It turns out that having scalers and then using Moon Girl, your opponent cannot play around all the stuff you do, and you should be able to win a ton of games, which is obviously one of the goals of playing Snap. Then we've got Crazy's Tryhard. We covered this list. Crazy is currently in the top 5 on the Infinite Leaderboard with this list. This one is again, messing with Fenris Wolf. We don't have a million ways to get Fenris Wolf off here, just Gladiator and Shang. But Fenris is a card your opponent must play around. They don't know what you're doing with it, right? If they're trying to play around your Fenris, good luck playing around Rocket and Groot. Good luck playing around Wiccan and Legion and Gore. This list says you're going to have paralysis because I've got every option in the world. Good frickin' luck. You might notice here, no Victoria Hand, unlike several of the other lists. From there, we go Shongenjoyer. Oh, these two are really similar. I didn't realize that. So I made this with Shongenjoyer, over the week before it came out, and then we released this as our day 1 video. This is still one of the highest win rate Iron Patriot lists around. This one says I'm running Negasonic and Gladiator for my Iron Patriot, I might as well get Fenris Wolf in there and get extra power that way. Kate Bishop is amazing. I really, 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 really like. I don't know. I could say really 17 more times. Want Victoria Hand in this, probably over Shang-Chi if you're so inclined. But at that point, you're losing one of your extra Fenris triggers. It's fine. This list is insane. Um, your end turn, your end game of Negasonic and Mystique or Gladiator and Mystique is insane. If you've got Wiccan, you can just play Devil Dino and Mystique out cold on the last turn. Stellar list, really powerful. Iron Patriot is just insane in it. Then we've got Scodenum's Wikijacks. We've got a whole Galacta section coming. It seems like I added Snowguard's bird here instead of Snowguard proper. Sorry about that. This one is yet another version of it. This one runs very little top end in terms of just alive as ahead of Wiccan, but it doesn't matter because Galacta and Victoria Hand are how this one is trying to get power out. Galacta is obviously just an incredibly strong card. It does throw Zabu in as a way to sort of try and cheat for Galacta and Wiccan, but it doesn't need them. It's got enough early game that it should be able to win as long as it sees any of its pieces. Then we've got Super Tech God's version, and Super Tech God, we had to feature this version because now all of a sudden we've got um, basically every generator, right? 13, Maria, Snowguard, Kate, and then instead of Coulson, White Queen. What? Yeah, White Queen. Why not? We're just gonna say if we can get your highest power card at better rate, let's go. Copycat's got it. This is the ultimate deck for that kind of copycat White Queen nonsense. We had to share it the second I saw the White Queen. It's running on reveals, it's running really good stats, and it just makes your collector huge. While Iron Patriot goes fairly likely to go off. We're not so a lot of what we're learning is you don't need to do extra shit to get Iron Patriot to go off. He goes off just enough, and when he does, he's game winning. And so we're gonna lean more into Victoria Hand with this type of list. Next up, we have Toxic Cold King's Scream Marika. Yeah, he made a Scream Wiccan, a Scream Wiccan Iron Patriot list. So, I've been telling everyone to get Scream forever. I'm going to have to say this at the front of the video. Glenn Jones recently revealed that Scream is bugged, not Rocket and Groot. Scream should not be stealing or gaining any power if Luke Cage is on the board, and I assume that's going to be fixed in a patch, which is going to make Scream way worse. But if you already have Scream, you have access to this list, you should play it. What's Iron Patriot doing here? Just being awesome, right? Just being a really, really powerful card. Why not play? You've got Quicksilver, right? You've got Iron Patriot, and you can run Kate here. And so you've got Scream and a little Scream package. One of the arrows benefits Craven. And then you've got Wiccan just to say, I've got way too much energy and I can win games that way. You've got Iron Patriot to say, I've just got cheap things. This list has been absolutely crushing in smaller samples. I'm very curious to see how this does going forward. We got our 2 Victoria Hand lists, and this seems like a good time to do our giveaway winners. We've got Shihan Fernando, we've got I Am Lil C, CLDRZ Films, G Money, and Pauziemba. So please reach out on Discord, on Twitter, or through our email in order to claim your season pass. Again, we're giving away one more this week. Make sure you try to win that. All right, Victoria Hand. So I didn't think Victoria Hand was going to be as good as she is. She's incredible. We've figured out how to get 2 and 3 Victoria Hands in ways that don't necessarily work for Patriot because your second and third Victoria Hands buff herself, which is insane, right? I think that she's worth getting now. I partially because of this, but partially because I think she's going to be really good with Moonstone. She's so much more power than I thought she'd be. I don't know what else to say it. Though these lists that run her, especially the first 2 lists in this video, I think Victoria Hand is going to be worth getting. We're going to do a last chance review of her tomorrow, but as of right now, I think she's worth it. And more importantly, you should, if you can, wait for the patch to come out on Tuesday. Then you open for her before daily reset. And if you miss her, you'll get 2,000 collector's tokens instead of 1,000. Obviously, don't open if you don't have 4. But if you're opening, getting 2,000 collector's tokens is much better than getting 1,000. Weekend missions be damned. So that's how you should open Victoria Hand. But I do think at this point, I'm recommending people open her. All right. This is the list I hit Infinite with. It's awesome. This is a control list. It is basically built around getting a million Victoria Hands out and making a huge collector. If it can do that, it feels freaking unbeatable. It is a ton of power. This is one of the lists I really, really want to try Moonstone in too, because being able to drop Moonstone on Quinjet feels like I win, right? Like even if I miss, I go Quinjet, Collector, Coulson, and then I Moonstone on that Quinjet, and I feel like I'm so far ahead. This list is going to be awesome. I don't know how else to put that. This list is awesome. It wins a lot, but this is a technical, hard to play list. I'm having a blast with it. I think people should be playing it more often and take the time to learn to be good with it because it is super effective. Then our other thing in this list is Regis Kilbin's list. Regis's Dino list is a nice, simple. This is like a almost Series 2 list. Maria Hill is Series 3, right? Snowguard is Series 3. This is your basic Dino list. As long as you can get to Iron Patriot Victoria Hand, Kate Bishop, remember, is in spotlights with Victoria Hand, then you can make this list without anything extra. This is like one of the ultimate budget lists. Both of these are really, really great budget lists because you don't really need Rocket, Groot, or Frigga for this. So you should be able to play this list. Please note it is very, very worth noting that Frigga is amazing with Victoria Hand. And if you have Frigga, then this is a much, much more desirable card. But even without that, this is just like, go get it. You're going to be really, really happy you did. Okay, we're going to finish up with a bunch of Galacta lists from MSL Chamo, Heart of the Cards, Cam Best, Dexter, someone I'm not aware of, and JD McDonaldinho. So we're going to kick it off with the Chamo list. Chamo is basically saying, I'm going to run that fours list from last season, and then I'm going to run a little Victoria Hand Iron Patriot package and just see if that wins. If you miss, this is basically saying, if you miss on your Iron Patriot Victoria Hand stuff, how about Galacta and Gwenpool for enough power? Chamo is chilling in the top 10 of the Infinite Leaderboard with this list. It is absolutely crazy strong and very, very worth playing. This one's really, really good, y'all. Heart of the Cards sent me this Ramp Surfer that I plan to feature in more detail later. It is basically saying, I want to play as many cards as I can. I want to get all this extra stuff out. If my opponent's trying to play my Iron Patriot lane, I can likely get that Luna Snow buff off. They might blow up their thing immediately while I get extra energy for the rest of the game. You could also win that with Juggernaut. You can also mess with the opponent with Cosmo that way. Gladiator can win that lane. A million ways to win that Iron Patriot lane, which means you've got extra cheap stuff and things to do with your extra cheap stuff. Hope Summers in Surfer is very strong. Nothing super complicated there. Nico gives you the opportunity to copy that Iron Patriot to turn him into a demon. Hydra Bob is amazing with it. There's a ton of ways to make this work, while also Patriot is just really, really powerful. Props to Heart of the Cards for coming up with this really cool idea that he's climbing with incredibly well. Then we've got Cambest Arishem Patriot, which is one of the highest win rate decks in the game. This one is just saying, what if we just put all the broken cards together? Doom 2099, one of the best cards in recent memory. Boom, let's go. Galacta, one of the best cards in recent memory. Let's go. Iron Patriot, let's go. Move, bounce, and stuff might get in our way. Killmonger. Opposing Victoria Hand decks are annoying. Lady Deathstrike. This list is all about having answers for shit while also being Arishem and putting out a ton of power. Look, this is a real easy Iron Patriot home, right? If you play Iron Patriot on 2 and you get to play Galacta next, you're ahead. Period. You've probably won that game and probably should have snapped. All right, then we have the Sarah Patriot. I have no idea who made this, but this is a Galacta version of it that's got really, really great stats on the Infinite Leaderboard. It says Iron Patriot's really good with Juggernaut and Gladiator. That's it. That's all this is really doing. You've got the Shang Enchantress thing, and because you've got Shang Enchantress, we're running Zabu. We've got the exact same amount of control with Zabu, Shadow King, Shang, Enchantress. This list really wants to see Sarah, but Zabu gives it an opportunity to get one of its big power cards out early. It's still got Juggernaut to win late game stuff. This is a very powerful list. I don't know what else to say, except that this one seems surely worth giving some run to. Then we have Dexter's Guardians of Galactus, which is just a weird combo list, but people are hitting infinite with it, y'all. You probably know Dexter. He's one of the biggest creators in the game. This one is saying, well, 9 power Galactus wins some games, right? If the opponent has to play somewhere because of Gene, it's even more likely to do so. Iron Patriot just gives you a cheap, powerful thing to do. It lets you get in on Gene, right? Like you can play Iron Patriot on Gene and then use like a Gamora to win that lane perfectly acceptably, and then you've probably just crushed that lane. Hydra Bob can get in and out of there. You've got all the Guardians, right? Like Rocket, Star-Lord, Gamora, and Rocket and Groot should be able to win you lanes, especially when combined with Galacta, and Galactus is just cheeky I win button. Our last list is this list that has been flying up the Infinite Leaderboard from our old friend JD McDonaldinho. He sent me this. This is seemingly, and he didn't tell me otherwise, based on my Surfer list. Remember my Surfer list that I've been playing a lot and telling everyone to play it in Infinite? Well, he figured out how to fit Iron Patriot in there. Keeps America Chavez, says, I don't want Nakia if I've got that now. So you've got Iron Patriot, and then instead of Fastos, we're running Hope, because now all of a sudden that extra power on Hope really does matter, although you do lose a little bit later from that. You've got Brood and Absorbing Men, so if you end up going Iron Patriot into Brood, not the goal, you have that extra ability, but you do have the Hope shenanigans with that. You can just win off going Galacta into Brood, right? If you play um, Galacta into Brood, you're usually way ahead. If you play that with Absorbing Man, you're usually way ahead. The Negasonic gives you your Iron Patriot. Rocket and Groot give you your Iron Patriot. There's tons of ways to win with this list. Tons of things to do with this incredibly powerful list. Props to Dave McDonaldino. I'm really excited to try this. I haven't tried it, but the win rate on this in High Infinite is through the freaking roof. And that's it. That's our video. 30 decks, y'all. Please check out our Patreon, patreon.com/snapjudgments. As I say thank you to Abigail Gilson, Manager Burnout, Irregardless, David G. Wingfield, Dirty Casual, Danton, LAB, FaThorNewman, Inc., Iron Frost Man, Jane Nefery, YOLO Potato, Thinking Poker, Prime Ryan, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Kertixley, Corey, Kazuchi, Archangel 3K, Parofos, The Goat Seeker, Hollowed, Quid Pro Joe, Snap Decisions Joe, Fat Nerd, Mr. Kerfuffle, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Bizza, Black Jeebus 23, Extra C, and Skippy G, Shiska Gamble, Timey Nyquist, The King of Bros, Great Kazoo, Werewolf, Kepsi Hodo, Ludacris, Corwin, John Q, Jim McHugh, Clam, Colonel Forbin, Yist Out, 8th Sage, Synth, Models, Mod Supreme. Synth got the frickin' Snapple in one shot, just for the record. Models, Mod Supreme, The Green Goblin, Unibot, Flan 56, Steven, Brian Coffin, Tristan Ace Martin, Jason B, Only, Fox, The, Fuzzilla, Spectrum X, Hoot, Matt H, GG, Mike Edging, Snowflex, Ocularis, Mr. Cricksterry, BG, Zodrex, The King Cat, Dema Falcon, Jonesy, Two Ties, The Great Learners, The Parking Tucker, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for. Thank you so much for watching. I will have another video tomorrow where I break down a bunch of important information, and then we've got like 10 videos coming this next week because we're going to do an extra patch video and an extra OTA video like we always do. We'll see you for those. We'll see you for everything. Thanks for watching. Peace.